and this is Mission Alive, and our mission is still before us. Our mission is ongoing in the world around us, and we have to be looking also to the future and preparing for the future. I've told stories of missionaries before. They prepared before they went out around the world to begin a mission. They found out as much as they could about where they were going and the people they were going to. They prepared as best they could for that situation. We are going into an unknown world in the months, perhaps the year or so ahead, and we have to prepare ourselves for that. One way to do that is to have a really good look at the situation and be realistic about it. When I was out in a bush station, the situation was changing because we had more people baptised and more people who were Catholics. We had more villages to visit, we had more schools to look after, and there was a need for more people to be active. And so on, and as the changes occurred, we had to be realistic in assessing what they were and how we could cope with it and what was needed. And then to go ahead and do that. So it meant training people, it meant planning courses, it meant changing the way that we were doing things. And that's what we're facing today. A new situation that will require change. We have to look at our situation, to identify the needs, to identify what is happening and why it is happening, and then to prepare and find new ways. I had a letter recently from a lady who was 83 years old, and she told me a marvellous story about her life. At the end of it, she said that a priest was urging them to find a way to help people to come back to church, to recontact the church after these months and months of not being able to. And her suggestion at 83 was to form a committee and go and visit people. So it's pretty practical to me. People who they know to be Catholics, who are perhaps not coming to church, perhaps they've lapsed, to go and knock on their door and say hello, and form a contact and start to reform the community. I remember many years ago I read about people in Brazil in a basic Christian community. Two men worked at a factory, and at that factory the reality was the language of the other workers was something atrocious, and there was a lot of pornography. So they thought and prayed and tried to work out what they could do about it. So what they decided, on the weekends they would go and visit the other workers in their homes. And they did this. Must have taken them a long time. And bit by bit the situation changed. The language became better, the pornography disappeared. This is personal contact, personal relationships, forming a bond, a community with people. So we have to be looking at ways to do that. Maybe it's a bit hard to do in our modern society, but we have to find ways. I remember there was a priest in Port Moresby. He was in the city of Port Moresby, and he used to go every Friday afternoon and every Saturday morning down to the local shopping centre, where there was a couple of supermarkets and many other stores and the post office and everything else, and there many of his parishioners would be there shopping, doing whatever they needed to do. And he said very rarely did he do one full circuit of that shopping centre, because every time he turned around he met another one of his parishioners, he met someone he knew. So he was contacting people where people were in the reality of their lives, that they had to go shopping, they had to do this, they had to do many other things, and he just kept bobbing up there, and he did this all the time. And again, another little story from Port Moresby. I knew a priest there he was actually a university lecturer, But he would go to the airport. The airport in Port Moresby was somewhat less than it is now, and somewhat less than our experience of international airports. But he would go there and meet every international plane and be there and before any international plane took off, because a lot of his parishioners and the people he knew were expatriates, and that's where he would meet them. And he would meet families who were waiting for people to come in. He would meet families who were sending somebody off. He went to where people were and the reality of their lives. So as we look at this new era, this new normal, who knows what the new normal is? I don't. A new situation, it's about people. It's about meeting people, contacting people, and showing people that you care. And in that, they might find some faith. They might be able to re-establish contact. This is a mission. This is a big mission for us. Thanks for being with us.